welcome to Friendverse the podcast. This is Wandia.
And this is Shiko.
So, I hope everyone is feeling energetic.
Irie.
Wow, okay. Relax.
I've always wanted to say that, baby.
Your opportunity has arrived clearly on this podcast this here day.
I mean, if not now, then when?
Yeah, no time like the present to be a bit shady.
Ati shady, excuse me, are you classist?
I can, if you insist.
Yeah, so Wanzia, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, so as usual, since these days I'm rarely on, I'm never on Twitter actually. So IG is where I'm at. And unfortunately, as I was browsing through IG looking for who to credit this post to, I couldn't find the person, but I'm going to read it out. Recognize when a phase, job, a life stage, or a relationship is over and let it go. Allow yourself to gracefully exit situations you have outgrown. Moving on doesn't have to be a catastrophic, dramatic event. You can simply choose to move forward with peace and clarity.
Oh, that is so good. And you know, I'm always, like sometimes, like now I read that and I'm like, that makes sense. But actually putting it into practice.
It's difficult.
It's not easy, man.
I think when you've ravaged yourself, you've been so hard on yourself, you read this quote, you're like, wow, that would be such a nice thing to, embody, to practice.
Internalize.
But it's quite hard.
And you know, mostly, I feel like sometimes mostly it's what we've been socialized to think and feel, like especially issues on holding on to things.
And people,
yeah, or even jobs, because sometimes, like, there was a place I worked for like 6 years, right?
Yeah.
And I left, and there are people, when I was there, we'd talk about leaving, and until today, they are still there. And it's not because they can't move, there's a fear that keeps them there.
Yes.
So I don't know, it's easier said than done sometimes.
Indeed.
But there are ways we can work towards, peace.
I mean, I guess it's that thing for you. You want that constant feeling, that security. This is a safe place. You don't want change.
Yes.
And sometimes, like, let's say it's a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a job, you're like, well, this is the devil I know.
Exactly.
I might be suffering. Actually, you might be going through the most there. But then you're like, this is what I'm used to. This is what I know. And there's so many other things that I really love about this situation. And I'm like, let me keep on holding on to it without the assurance that, what's yours should not, face a lot of resistance with you. So these days I'm also trying to look at it like that, where if I'm really struggling to connect with someone, with a place, with a job, with, any type of situation, then clearly there's something that's telling me that I need to move on. And, sometimes it's very difficult to move on, like, as you're saying, for a job, this economy, what?
No, it's in shambles.
Exactly. So I guess now also putting in the work, making sure that you're now doing the work of trying to change your situation so that you're not forever stuck there. Yeah.
We get comfortable, and then that comfort becomes complacency. And then, you make excuses for, at least this one I know, or this person I know, or this job I know. But
you're
as
suffering.
in even sleeping, even waking up, I remember, like, waking up to go to work was such a drain. And then when I left and got another job, I mean, it's like my heart was, or my shoulders were carrying all these things, and then suddenly it was like,
you're
free. My God. And there's no perfect job, there's no perfect whatever, but some of them are like,
they're killing you, basically.
Exactly.
And I guess when you leave that situation, you're like, oh my God, I was really holding on to something that was killing me softly. Wow.
And then now, that's a good segue into holding on to people.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, know. No, seriously. Have you ever held on to someone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why? Why were you holding on, if you were to be asked?
If I was to be asked, okay, this is something very recent, in fact.
Oh, really?
Okay, maybe recent is relative
I'm like,
as well.
did I know you?
I guess it's those ones where you convince yourself that there's so many other things that feel good, that feel right, or you had, you romanticize someone, a feeling, and you're like, when we do this, it's amazing. I love it the way we talk or the way we do a certain two things. But then when you do a full stock take, and you're like, to be honest, most days I'm anxious, and it's only those 15 minutes or that 1 hour when I know where you are or when you're talking with me that I feel at peace. So what about the other 23 hours where I'm just like, there's something inside your tummy or your heart or wherever, you just feel like it's eating away at you. And sometimes when you let go of that situation, you're like,
Peace.
oh, I still, no, listen, you feel the peace, yes, but you still miss it. You miss those good things. So, it's a very, it can, it's this thing about misremembering something. Yeah. Because that thing you miss the 1 hour of the day and you forget that the 23 hours of the day, you're actually anxious.
So you overemphasize that 1 hour to make it seem bigger than it actually is. I get, by the way.
Yeah. And the process of actually, meeting yourself and saying, by the way, you are not happy. Right now, that pit in your stomach is gone. Yeah. You may be missing some aspects that, to be honest, you probably get tenfold from other relationships, but you kind of magnify this one because, I don't know for what reason, or, there are some people maybe who make such a huge impact on you, but then later on you should be like, you know what? You thank that situation, you thank that person, and you're like, I'm so glad we met.
Yeah.
I might have gone through so much hurt dealing with you, but it was also good.
Yeah.
But the fact that it didn't really, work the way it should have, maybe it's best we continue moving in different directions,
So that's
but
how
it takes so long.
That's how you end that
It takes so long.
that friendship, whatever it was.
It takes so long. And, the amount of courage for you to say,
it's not easy.
That it's not working for me, I need to leave. When you're uko thinking that, oh my God, I love the way we do this, this, and this, and this. And then you keep on trying to forget about the way you're in pain or you're crying or you're doing all these other things, which is weird. Why do you forget that shit?
I don't know.
It's annoying, to be honest.
I know.
I usually get annoyed with myself so much.
That's the thing. And then you're so hard on yourself because you're like, I should know better. I should
know.
know better. But as in,
and I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, practice makes perfect. In fact, put me back in, coach. I want to try again with the next person or next situation so that I can feel like, what?
learned.
I'm growing from this.
Yes.
Last time it took me longer to get away from it, but this time, as in, unacceptable,
Do you know, I was thinking about that just yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like I was dealing with someone and then in my head I was like, if this was me 2 years ago, I would have done ABCD. But now, like I was
That's bros, baby.
You know what that is.
You know what that is. And it's such a good feeling where you're like,
yes.
So this is the new me. And I don't do that.
Yep.
So that's what I feel. Even in my heart, I feel like, I'm looking forward for the next time I'm faced with such a situation, so I can be like, you know what, I love myself this much for me to be honest and say, I thank you very much for, what we've done. We've had an amazing experience together, but the way things are going, let's continue being, the way passing ships, you meet, you dance, you do everything, you do ABCD, and then when it becomes the time, you guys pass each other and it's fine. It's really fine.
So, okay, so now I have to ask.
Uh-huh.
Now, having those conversations, people call them hard conversations or difficult conversations or whatever. I mean, when a relationship is ending, and we are talking about, as usual, platonic, romantic, familial, all of them. Yeah. When we say relationship, that's what we mean. how do you learn to have the difficult conversations? Or when did you learn? Or has it always been that when something is ending,
Yeah.
you have the conversation? Or, I mean, how have you been ending relationships in the past? I mean, obviously, like for me, if I start thinking like romantic relationships, it's those ones of we break up, like
Yeah.
it's a conversation that happens.
Yes.
Then I think about friendships.
It's like
It's
you pull
usually
it's
yeah,
like gradual.
yes,
Soon you're not together, you don't talk, you don't what.
it's like gradual ghosting,
Yeah.
you know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, and why do we do that? Why don't we have those conversations with your friends,
Yeah.
the difficult ones? You see, it's that thing where we
No,
always
wait, chill. Then, so now I've just now thought about it with like some friendships where you actually have a conversation and say, or maybe they do something that even doesn't warrant a
response.
a passing of the relationship or anything. Like you don't even say this is the end, but someone will do something that you just know obviously now we cannot,
It's a wrap.
we'll never talk again.
Yeah.
So I think it's with the different levels of the relationship. So there are friends who you're maybe more than acquaintances.
Yes.
And the breakup will happen gradually, as you say. But let's say it's me and you. We probably talk every day. So I think if we were to ever lose this friendship, it would be either as that one thing that happened that's a deal breaker and it's intense. You know, those ones for even whoever does whatever it is will be like, oh God, I cannot. Maybe the last thing will be an apology and probably
That's
the person will not even reply, you know?
Yes.
But then if it's something that now you see people are moving in different directions and we can no longer, come together, it would be like, you know what? We don't see eye to eye anymore. I don't think I feel safe maybe hanging out with you. We can't talk and everything, But I wouldn't say I would have that same conversation with other people.
Yes.
But
I
also,
agree.
these things happen differently.
Yes.
Because I imagine for a romantic relationship, you're also talking often. Maybe there's also sex in the relationship. So it's like, I feel like there's more commitment than in a casual friendship. So I guess like a romantic relationship and also a very close friendship, they're like on the same level. Depending also on how you're handling that business. So
no, but I feel like also, the way we talk about hierarchy of friendships, there are some friendships that are deep enough and like close enough that they are treated almost, the commitment is like a romantic relationship.
Or even more, Yeah.
So I mean, it's true that it depends on the relationship and how you quantify it, qualify it, whatever. So, but I feel like there's an unkindness that happens. Okay, fine, we've cosanad or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. It's such a slippery slope because people don't owe you,
At all.
response. They
At
don't,
all.
But then on the other side, I'm like, am I being unkind and am I being rude? And it's.
I think you do what you want to do and what makes you happy. Like, to be honest, and it might hurt me, but at the end of the day, it's you.
But I feel like also when I'm checking myself, I'm not. It's that thing where I check myself where I'm like, I'm doing me. It's all. Then I'm like,
Not like that. Not like in that the way you've said it like that. I already can tell so much ego in that. In that whole
but
thing.
But it happened like right now. I'm seeing it so much where people are like, oh my God, it's leave me alone and my time and
then also I can tell, are you even trying to be a good person there? So like, me, I'm thinking that if I choose let's say to be your friend, and as you say, people are not perfect, right? But I can see that you generally as a person, you are someone who tries to be a good person to other people. You're loving, you're caring, you're considerate. So I can already read that you wouldn't be that type of person who'll be like, if you say you're choosing yourself or I don't have time, I'll believe that, oh well, Shiko is not a terrible person. She's not a nasty person, at least when we interact with her and how I've seen her interacting with other people. So if I hear you saying that, oh, you know what, I'm moving in a new direction, I don't feel like I have space for this friendship, it will hurt me a lot. But also, Mishoe, I have to trust you and be like, you know what, this is for Shiko. And at the end of the day, I also want the best for Shiko. So the best way I can be also a friend to you is to be like, okay, I do need to pull away from this relationship, no matter how hard it is. Probably I'll be like, okay, what is wrong? Is it something that I did and everything? And, you know, it will be commonplace for me to ask that, especially if I don't want the friendship to end. But if you say it's nothing that I've done or anything, then for me, it'll just be like to accept that and make peace with it without leaving that situation with anger, with hurt or something, because I don't think you're lying to me. You're not trying to hurt me or anything. But you know, like when we look at romantic relationships, when people are leaving each other, it's because of lies or you know, you're hiding something. And then when you finally come correct towards me and say that, oh, I haven't been feeling this for 5 months. And I'm like, what? As someone who is blunt and who says what I'm feeling, immediately I start feeling it. For me, I feel like that's a lie. Yeah. You can't have been, Wandia is my friend. We've been hanging out. You've been sending me heart emojis. You've been, you know, tagging me on your stories. Like, you know, for all intents and purposes, the friendship has continued. But then later on you say, Ati, oh, I haven't been feeling. I'm like,
oh my goodness.
Immediately you feel as something, you tell me. You come to me and tell me, Wandia, I don't know what it is, but there's something that I've been feeling. You tell me that and I will respect you for it, you know?
By the way, you're right.
But now later on, after it's festered, it's injured you, then you come to tell me,
by the way, even a conversation cannot even happen at that point, because I'm like, you've been carrying this thing for how long?
You've been lying to me that we're on the same page.
Exactly.
You know? And, you know, I will notice that you're holding back. But because we are doing this together, I choose to trust you. And then now later on, she'll make me now question my gut.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Which is the worst
like I'm so happy we are really connecting on this, because me immediately I feel like are we good? Because when I feel like something is happening between us and it's not 100%, me immediately I'll tell you, are we good? Did I do something wrong?
But you know that is a very important point to make, that thing of, are we good? People don't ask, are we good? Because I mean, you know, relationships have a certain ebb and flow. Like there's a routine that they have. Of course, when something changes, if you are really a true and it's a real relationship, you can sense that. And then so at that point, it should be like, maybe someone is not able to come to you. So it should be like, are we good? You know, because you don't know who, like, is it only you that they've stopped talking to, for example, or is it everyone else? So that thing of checking in on where the relationship is very important.
And it can't be one person who's only checking in, because let's say you'd pull away and I can notice that. You know, it could be a number of reasons. Maybe you're going through a stressful time at work and maybe it's not about me. And all I need is for you to say, actually, it's work that's really killing me, so that I'll be like, oh, thank God it's not something that I've done, that me and you are still okay. And I trust that, you know. And that's what's so important, I feel, in these things, that honesty. So that even when we are leaving the relationship, if at all, we can live light. Not feeling like I'm angry, you did me bad, how am I meant to trust the next person?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, we are so old. We are old women. I didn't. Oh my God! Like,
I mean, you know. This is why I always say we need to level up our communication, because people are not communicating. I don't know whether it's Hollywood. I don't know if it's social media. I don't know if it's your parents or whatever who have made, like, people are not having Let me tell you, sometimes I can ask someone, so are we friends? You know,
Yeah.
because me, I don't believe in that. Oh, I've said this before.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. No. By the way, if I haven't asked you, are we friends? We are just acquaintances, by the way.
I've ever asked this dude. Are we like, you know, the way you've been hanging out with this person and it's, you know, it's intimate and everything, and then one day you're just like, are we even friends? Like, would you, you know, pause before you do something that would really hurt me?
Yeah.
Or are we just coasting like this?
That
you know,
ghosting. It's ghosting.
so then someone will be like, yeah, we are friends. And I just know, we are not.
No, me. Someone I asked, and then they were like, have I done anything to make
Oh
it
my God, okay.
look like we are not friends?
And then she could be like, can you relax? I'm like,
no, I was like, by the way, I was like, I don't
Yeah.
make assumptions about people
Exactly.
in my life.
Indeed.
I like to know where we are at so that I know what expectations you have of me and
what you can also, you know, expect from the other person.
yes.
It's like that quote for don't overestimate your place in
yes,
someone's life,
yes,
heart,
yes,
whatever. And I think that's important because beyond me acting friendly, acting loving between, you know, maybe I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
And then I treat everyone like that.
You're sociable.
Yeah,
maybe.
you're sociable. And that's, for me, I find that very complicated because I don't think I'm a very sociable person. Like, I can do it if I have to.
Yeah, you can
but sometimes
perform
I'm
it.
like, okay, I don't really want to do this. Why are we doing this?
yeah.
So that's why I think sometimes I find it difficult to trust people who are social butterflies because I don't know if you actually want to be there and you enjoy my company, or are you performing?
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I feel what you're saying.
so like for me, I'll be like some other work colleagues. I don't know if I've mentioned this or where I've had this conversation, and they were like, yeah, you never want to hang out with us and everything. Then I was like, you know, we're not friends. And they were really you know, they got a bit shocked. And I was like, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, we don't know about each other. You don't know my personal life.
No.
I don't know yours.
Yeah.
So
How
don't
many siblings do I have?
exactly
As
like
in,
you
let's
have no
start there.
personal information about
Yeah.
me. So I may be very nice and everything when we are working and everything, but that does not mean we are friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I want us to be like, okay, you're my friend and I'm your friend. And it's some type of a contract, an agreement. You know, I think we should also take it seriously. The way you ask if someone is going to be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty okay with trying to figure out if someone is actually my friend and they call me my friend, and what does that mean, right? Yeah.
But now, okay, so now to go back, what do you think about closure?
So I know when we're on Twitter, people like, oh, fuck closure, like closure is shit and everything. Especially looking at when you're getting closure from the other person, right?
Exactly. That's what I have an issue with.
Or
actually.
getting closure from the other person.
Yes, because you
It's-
can have a conversation one day
Yes.
and closure nothing.
Closure.
Because
nothing.
you're looking for something from
you
you want
know.
that person to tell you that you're still lovable, that you're still wanted,
Yes.
but you cannot get.
Yep.
So that level of closure,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not-
don't
I'm not-
think
I'm not
you
here
should
for
get
it.
it for yourself.
Yes.
Get it from yourself where you're like,
yes,
you believe in yourself that, you know what, you're a loving person, you're all these things that probably this person could never appreciate about you, you know. But sometimes, maybe for me, the closure that I do believe in, because I do believe in having that in some form of way, as long as we left it where maybe you did not threaten my life or something, you know. In those cases,
Yeah.
the closure you get is like the cops, a restraining order. That's the type of closure, you know. But where maybe you did something to hurt me, or you told a lie, you know, such things, I like telling you where you went wrong, you know, where you
Yeah.
went wrong from the contract that we had. I believe in having that type of
Yeah.
a conversation, but
Yeah.
not where I hate when people come and say, you know what, you're a nice, okay, no, this is not where that conversation is. I don't
Yeah.
want you to tell me
It's
I'm a
not
nice
me,
person.
It's
It's
you.
you.
It's not you. It's me.
I like
Oh,
the
God.
type of closure that I do believe in is telling someone where they went wrong. And to be
Yes.
honest, I would love for someone to tell me where I
Yeah.
went wrong.
Growth.
You know,
Yeah.
like if I did something to you, of course, where it's not like, you know, those ones for life and death and those big things, that you tell me that the way you handled this and this and this,
I
it
didn't
was
appreciate.
unfair. And for me, the space is not safe enough for this to continue. I believe you need to tell people these things because sometimes it's not obvious for
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah.
And I know it may take time. If you need to take a month to find those words on how someone hurt you, because, you know, it's reliving the hurt or that experience, but sometimes it could also be a way for you to release that tension. I mean, if you feel safer not approaching the person, you can write it, yeah. But if you still feel like you can reach out to them and talk to them, whether or not they reply, you know, for me, I find that that's important. Or maybe it's because of the person that I am.
I think so, because I'm trying to think how I am. For me, by the way, I'm not big on conversations after the fact.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'll start crying, and not because I'm even like me. I just cry easily. So
Yes.
you're feeling the way you've hurt my feelings, then I'm like, oh my God, bloody hell, why am I crying? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm not big on those. Like, write me the email, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I'm not big on, oh, let's meet and discuss
Oh no!
and whatever.
Oh, we don't have to meet.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're now in the physical space of someone,
It changes something.
ooh, it can be a bit tricky. I might get super angry and
But you know,
I get super emotional.
I know.
Super.
But if you read what people talk about closure, that's usually what they are saying. They're like, oh, we need to meet and then let's have this conversation about. I'm like, I'm not sure.
I don't think we need to be in the same physical space because, yeah, it's unnecessary. Maybe some people who cannot have that type of a conversation on, you know, on text or call, I guess that sucks. But no, I can't imagine doing that in the physical presence of someone. That's too much.
But you
It's
know, people
painful.
are like, and
Well,
most
actually,
of the time,
I do remember.
as in it happens. I'm sure.
I think I've done that in campus.
No,
when you end a relationship in youth.
Youth
Oh my God.
transgressions. As in, and you know, it's an expectation of let's sit and examine.
And
this
you can get messy
relationship.
because then you're like, oh, maybe you can do a cuddle, a kiss.
Let's
Oh,
do a
God.
final hug.
Oh, that becomes a final other thing, and then afterwards you're like, okay.
No, and then I feel like sometimes, especially for people who insist on that kind, it's like they want to be forgiven or to be told they weren't that bad or I wasn't that mean or
Yes.
you know whatever. It's like they are trying to absolve
Oh,
themselves.
I have gotten that.
Yeah, they're trying to absolve
I
themselves.
have definitely seen that. And you remember our episode on forgiveness, where we're talking about, do you apologize to be forgiven? Do you apologize because you felt guilty? Or it's because you realize that you hurt someone and you're like, you did not deserve that type of treatment? Because that thing for until you come 10 years later or a month or whatever saying, yeah, that was unfair, it's because the guilt is eating at you.
That was the topic on friendship. Making friends in adulthood.
Oh,
or
yes,
something like that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Trying
yeah.
to, you know, fix friendships or
Yeah.
something. We talked about forgiveness
Yeah.
in that episode.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. So I'm like, question yourself also why you're apologizing. Sometimes, you know, it's not even a must for you to apologize. Like, just acknowledge that, you know what, I fucked up. It's too much time has gone. Imeisha tu hivyo. Maybe try harder in your next relationship. And if you get a second chance with this person, just make sure you don't mess up because now you can be killed. Because imagine someone putting themselves out there a second time. Yeah. So I can see how that can be physical space apologies or endings or I don't know. I'm not a fan.
Even me, I'm not a fan, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you cannot have a conversation through other means, the physical presence, there's something behind wanting to meet physically that is not good for whoever is experiencing the hurt in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now let me ask you another question.
Wait. For you, when it comes to closure, at what point would you say that? Is it something that you seek? In what way would you get your closure?
I think my closure most of the time is inward. Like I do postmortems on all my, even acquaintances who we used to talk, and then we don't talk anymore. It was kind of like a ghosting thing or whatever. I do a lot of postmortem on that, and I just move on from that. I'll probably not have like I won't write to people or send them emails or call them or whatever, but I'll definitely think about it and be like, okay, this thing has ended. So where do we go from here? You know, like that. So, but not that I will be like, oh, I'll most often, like, I rarely do that, what you were talking about, where I'll be like, oh, by the way, when you did this, it hurt me or whatever. I've done it this year, actually. Oh my God, yes. I was like, by the way, when you did this, and this, it hurt me and it ended. And
how about maybe that's because of the type of friendships that now you're building or you're trying to have?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I just I did it. I'd forgotten until this very moment. So but I think a lot. I mean, there are friendships that ended in 2016 and I'm still doing a postmortem until today, because I want to not do those things again.
Yeah.
Because they hurt me, man. I know hurt doesn't end. Like, I'm very aware hurt does not end. But there are ways you can, like, you know,
maneuver. Escape that.
Yeah, as in life is hard, man. If there's a way I can make it easier for myself by how I respond to people, by how I engage with people, believe me, I'm going to do it for my sake.
Yeah.
Yes. For my sake, man, navigating this world is not easy. So if if there are things I can do better, or if there are things I can stop myself from doing, I'm going to learn how to do it. Because that's all, by the way, who you are is, people are like, that's just the way I am. No, that's not just the way you are. There are things you can change about yourself. So for me, when things end, to answer your question, is I
Fiddle with
change.
that.
But I'm also changing how I deal with it. But most times I just do a postmortem and then I'm like, this happened, blah, blah, blah. Then I know people will be like, but you don't know the other side of the story.
Oh, God.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, I know how I felt.
How you feel. Yeah. And I mean, if
that's enough to make decisions.
If the other person is not feeling like they have something to say about how they felt or anything, you take control of your feelings, your situation.
Because that's the only thing I can control, by the way.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
I was also thinking about the way we demote people from, high level of a friendship, or, like the way, let's say we were in a romantic relationship and then now you remain friends.
Yeah.
Such things.
Tricks.
Or
for the heads.
Trick
for the heads.
Trick A. Because, also like female male friendship, like, to be honest, I'm searching hard. It's tough, it's tough. Because, to be honest, when you think about it, maybe all your male friends have always wanted to, shag you. So I'm like, we can't even be friends without, like, it being about sex. We can't, just figure out how are you doing, those other things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's why, to be honest, I find it hard remaining friends with, people you've had a romantic, intimate relationship with, because of, maybe to them, their mindset is, okay, our friendship was the sex. That's how I showed my care. And I'm like,
that's sad.
That's messed up. You see.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I'm always very wary about men who want to remain friends, because, to be honest, we
for them.
Exactly. Because, even maybe how we became friends was because of that intimacy or that romantic aspect of the relationship. So if you've not proved in the past that you have other elements that you bring to the table, why are you here, you know? Or, you know, sometimes it's just not meant to continue after that, because I'm just like, with you, this was what it was.
Yeah.
So trying to grow in this other side of the friendship, it's difficult. It's like a whole learning curve. And sometimes you're like, it's not worth it. I've seen the type of person you are, and I'm like, it's just easier for us to be those people who probably see each other when you go for this specific event.
So you don't talk to any of your exes? Is
No,
that what you're
I do. Some I do.
Okay.
You know.
Kwani ni wengi aje?
So, like what I was saying before she was trying to put me on the spot. And to be honest, you don't have to say that a relationship with someone is if you officially dated.
Yeah.
Because, you know, these things, it's either you are, you know, it's a sexual relationship, it was maybe just an intimate relationship. Like, I feel like all these are types of relationships. If you want to call it a situation, like all that nonsense, I don't care. But if you have some sort of an agreement with someone who knows personal information about you, there's some type of reciprocation, that is a relationship. Whether it's on whichever level of the spectrum, like for both romantic and casual, platonic type of relationships, I think for all of them, that decision to demote someone to another level of friendship can be complicated.
It is quite.
Because if I feel like let's say me and you, I can't imagine a friendship where we are not continuing to do what we do now. Because I'm like, how?
But you know, it happens.
It happens.
No,
but
let me tell you.
It's hard.
You know, you've asked me that question and something so specific came to my head.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people, so I'm married. So you know how I act being in a romantic relationship. So now you become friends with this person. When you're friends, they are not in a relationship. Then when they get into a relationship, they stop talking to you. You know, there are people like that. Because one dear, you don't know how you will act. You know, like right now you'll say, "Oh, nothing will change, nothing will change."
Like
but
if
you
I
don't
got
know.
into
Yeah, like
if I got into
married.
a what type? If I got
No, we are just relax. You know, by the way, I'll keep this recording for when you get married. Anyway, so I'm just saying, if you got married, you don't know how you will react with me. Like, so you'll demote me from who we are now. You'll demote me now to a lower. It happens.
I can imagine that, but now to me, I feel like that's very risky.
It's
because
a risky business, man.
This has happened to me in the past, where now you get into a romantic type of situation, and then your friends now have a less priority. Maybe not recently in the last couple of years, but I remember them days of campo. You can be totally consumed by someone, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so dangerous. Because now when it ends, you're just like, oh my god.
No, but it happens. One day, let's say now you get into a relationship, then the way we meet over weekends or whatever, it's now you start
Reduced
spending time
with that
a
other person. True.
So you try to meet up, it's not, days are not, so you kind of demote someone because of that thing that is happening in your life.
That's true.
Because for me, you already know how I am in a relationship. Like, that there are days I can't make it, there are days. But now for me to adjust to my friends getting into, it's always like, it's
actually, you would have been able to see that because, like, you've been married for 8 years. So, like, and you've had different friendships at that period of time.
Yes.
Where those friends have probably gotten cuffed or married or, some type of serious relationship, maybe even gotten out of them.
Yes.
And you've been able to see that. So have you experienced where you've been demoted?
Yeah.
And then does it change when now it's over?
I mean, relationships have ended many, even when guys get kids. By the way, now that us we don't have and them they have, it changed all those things. Change relationships
because your priorities change.
Of course, your priorities change. So,
but then that shows it's terrible because then it shows that me and you then were not
exactly.
Oh, my heart.
Oh, think
chest
about
pain.
My
like
chest.
that's a terrible.
Yes. So I'm just giving you that thing because when you talked about emotion, that's what came to my head.
Yeah,
Because I've
yeah, to be honest,
experienced it.
I was thinking about, or something happens, your life changes, and then we can no longer connect the way we used to connect before.
So now, like even me, let's say if when I get a kid, will it change our friendship?
Yeah,
It's something to
I mean, you'd be busy, so I feel like even for me,
Mm.
then it would be also up to me to be like, okay, I need to go and check in on Shiko, considering that I can still come over and do all those things. It'd be like, I also need to be more flexible to understand that probably now your schedule has become a bit more, consumed by this other person who's now in your life. So I'm like, can I also be flexible to show that also this new addition in your life, that to me it's a priority because they're making you happy, or it's just something that is now part of your life? Because let's say I get married or I get into a relationship, would you be waiting on me to give you time, or you'd be like, okay, Wandia now has less time, how can I meet her where she is?
Yes.
So it's like both of us have to be aware that my life has changed, or whoever's life has changed. So what are we gonna do about it if we
Yeah.
still want to continue with the
And it's
friendship?
also, it's now again bringing in the aspect of conversations that need to happen.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's something to be talked about, because if it's those ones of, oh, I've gotten a kid, they should understand, I don't think that's also fair.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. So, or I'm now in a relationship and they should understand. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it needs to be, of course, depending on the type of friendship you
You
have.
know the way you
but-
say that, now I'm in a relationship, girl. Like, oh, you're single. Like, let's say all of you are single, and one gets coffee. Like, okay, you know me, what I do with in my relationship. You guys might not understand. I'll be like, whoa, might have to stab you right quick. So I've never been in such a situation where you start flaunting a new relationship. I've never felt like someone has done that to me, but I can see how that could happen.
Yes.
And the single girls be like, okay, Wandia needs to just dial it down, or else we are just going to have to kill her.
It
But
could
yeah,
happen. It could happen.
those things happen.
Yes. But it's sad when relationships end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something else I was thinking about is, I remember a point in my life where I was like, oh, we've been friends for 10 years. And, that's the most important part of the friendship. And then when you think about it, I'm like, okay, this person who we've been friends since primary school. Okay, what is their role in my life? How
You
do they
should have
help
nipped
me?
it in the bud.
And I'm like,
Zamani.
we are just hanging around in each other's lives. We don't really,
in the periphery.
yeah. And then yet we say, she's my BFF. We've been friends for 10 years. And it's this big thing. Other people know, yeah, those guys have been friends for 10 years. But what does that even mean? So these days, maybe now I've become biased against it. I'm just like, when people, that's the first thing that they say about
yeah.
maybe even a relationship with me, or it's a relationship that they have with someone else, I'm like, that's the best thing you could come up with, that we have been friends for 10
Since high
years.
school. And it means
I'm
nothing.
like, oh, what else is there? And so I've been questioning, because I think there's a time when I think I was losing a lot of those friends from primary school, from
I
city.
don't even
You know-
know how people talk to people from primary. Like, I don't talk to anyone I was in primary with. I only talk to one person I was
Yeah.
in high school with. And that's as in university,
Yeah.
undergrad, zero. As in, I don't know.
I remember this one girl, we were in primary school together, then we went to high school together. So when we were in Campo, we used to hang out quite once in a while. But then I looked back and I was like, our relationship was always so defined by how we related in the past. Oh, do you remember? So there are these relationships that are held by nostalgia.
Men love those, by the way.
And I was just like, you know what? I don't even know your life. I don't know. I don't know the things in your life
Or
now.
what you're thinking.
What you're thinking, what you're struggling with, what you love. I just know when we meet for coffee, we'll reminisce. And I'm like, it does not work for me. I'm like, it's who is it helping? Because it's not me. Yeah. If I a big thing happened in my life, you would not be the first person I'm telling. Because us, what we do is we talk about primary school, we talk about high school, we talk about the teachers, the fun, the gigs we went to. Like,
So they get demoted to acquaintances because they still know you.
Exactly.
But they don't
and
know,
you don't
they don't have that space in your life anymore. So it's some end, but some get demoted.
Yeah, some get.
What you're saying.
I feel like a lot of those have ended for me, and it's just like,
but
that wistful feeling for sad that.
Yeah.
But not at you. I'm not pained.
Yes.
But I just feel like, it's sad that it could not be more.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially based on the fact that, there's history. History is nice.
Yeah.
Feeling like, we've been together for.
So
but the fact that cannot be added on with, qualitative aspects of the friendship.
But now let me ask you. Ending, when we say ending, is it that when, let's say, you meet that person, you won't talk to them?
Oh no, it depends.
Oh yeah.
And there's some who will be like, okay, you can meet this knife. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but there's some who there's some who you pretend you cannot see. You're like, is there a bad smell in the room? Because I must cover my nose. Like, you just walk around like there's a bad stench under your nose and you look like you're sneering. There's such people who, like, catch me dead talking to,
even
like,
looking in their general direction,
seeing you, imagining you. Hey, like, impossible. But then there are others who, like, this one's for, we were friends in high school, in primary, and then you meet again, like,
then don't lie and be like, let's can't.
Oh no, I don't do that. I don't like, because I hate awkward situations. I don't like those ones for. Oh, so what have you been? Oh, I hate that question.
God,
like,
I also hate that.
Because people just want to say, what's your job?
Someone asked me, so what have you been up to? And the way I had a terrible 2018. So someone asked me what. So I told them I'm a housewife. I'm like, get off my space.
Me usually tell them, I've just been around. Because I'm like, you want me to tell you as in? Because people just want to know what is your job. Where are you? And
they want to place you. They want to rank you. They're like, am I doing better
than you? Aren't we friends, whatever colleagues on LinkedIn? You can see. You can see what's up.
No, like, but see, they want to see if they are doing better than that's
my God.
Some people
like, literally I usually say, oh, so nice to see you and everything. And if someone asks, like, that question for what have you been up to, what are you doing, I'm like, I've just been around. Because I'm like, why for what? For
such a
unless now
question.
I'm like, I've really wanted to connect with you again because I heard that this and this, and I will come at you with something specific.
Yes.
Not at random gossip trying to measure you. Seeing, are you still? Oh my God, like boring.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, there's never a conclusion. By the way,
this continues.
Yes.
And also, we change our minds.
Yes.
Because, you'll have a new experience and you'll be like, you know what? These days I don't like closure.
Yeah.
Death to closure.
Imagine by the way you are allowed to change your mind. We are allowed to change our minds. So,
yeah.
That's how life is by the way. You cannot actually stick to, I've always done it this way, so I need to do it this until
you'll go through something that will be like, you know what? Now I've changed the way I behave, or based on a specific set of circumstances, I'll be behaving in this specific way. But so to end, to summarize.
Is ghosting a legitimate way to end a relationship?
Ghosting, the way it has been defined is that someone is sending you messages, and you all of a sudden stop talking. So it's like this other person does not realize something changed between you. Yeah, or for you.
Yeah.
So I do not think it's appropriate.
Even
the way we say this other type of ghosting is we draw away from each other. That's different. That's just drawing apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's different from ghosting. Ghosting is literally waking up one day and deleting this person without, an action showing that, okay, you messed up. No, it
Or
could be business
something
as usual.
changed or whatever.
Yeah,
No,
it's waking
yeah.
up and saying bye, like deuces, disappearing man gift. You know that one.
Yeah.
And I think that is terrible. You could mess up with someone's mental health. Like for someone who maybe is prone to anxiety or worry and all those things,
Yeah.
you can imagine what that would make them feel.
But there's that school of thought of I need to do it for me, and this is what I was telling you in the beginning.
That's different. So you see, I do, to be honest, for me, I'm also the type of person who's like, for me, I will prioritize how I'm feeling, what I need in a situation.
Yes.
Yeah. But I also have to be kind. I have to respect you.
Thank you.
It's a sign of respect.
Yes.
We are, after all, friends, So, Shiko, I'll tell you now, and this is not just for the podcast, I respect you. And I want to be kind to you.
Aww.
I don't want you to feel so bad. Alafu sasa you're stuck in a room and you're worrying like what happened, all those things. I would never want that for you. Yeah. Or you now maybe to take it out on someone else because I hurt you.
Yeah.
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 First and foremost, people should be like, you want to be kind to the people you call your friends.
Exactly.
Or even though we're not friends,
Yeah.
try to be kind.
Yeah.
I am and respect.
I'm with you.
So that's the bottom line. Prioritize your needs and your heart and what makes you happy and everything, but be respectful, be kind in all your actions. So, hey, ghosting, whew, Azzy. I know it took .com and everything, but I don't think it's fair. It's not nice. And what will it have drawn out from you by telling someone, you know what, I can no longer continue this conversation.
Yeah.
I cannot continue this friendship. Even though I don't give you 100% explanation, I do owe you that to tell you it's not something you did. This is, I'm going through a hard time or something. I need to pull away and prioritize this and this. And sadly, you're not part of that. I think people deserve that. I mean, grow up, own up to that.
Yeah.
It may be hard for you to do it, take your time, but grow up and, do adult things. I mean, what? Don't be childish. We're trying to do better. We're trying to do better.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. Are we having concluding thoughts?
No. I think.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Be
That's
kind.
a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So are we listening to things that are interesting? You want to share?
I always listen to interesting things, and if
Well.
you read my blog,
Yeah.
I've been posting
Yeah.
every week what I'm listening to. But right now, I want to just shout out.
Shout out.
Yes, a shout out to Kwame, who released his EP earlier, and it's on all streaming platforms. And you guys should listen.
Oh, it's on all streaming. Finally, I'll look for him on Spotify.
Yes, Kwame. Okay, there are like two Kwame, so you have to look for Kwame Rigi.
Okay.
I know I'm not pronouncing it properly because I don't have that Kikuyu affectation, but Kwame Rigi, he does like soulful Kikuyu jams, and his jam record.
But they did
Wede
Erosh
is
also
like
put on streaming platforms?
Not Common is on streaming platforms. I know that, and the one he did with Kwame is also there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shall do the searches.
Yes, but I want to reiterate, I'm talking about Kwame. in
I
this
know
episode.
Kwame. Yes. Yes, it's Kwame.
Okay, Sawa. And you, are you listening to anything?
I keep going back to
Oh, God.
what? Let's put a pin in who is classist. Let's just put a pin. And
Okay, so
our listeners are the proof of this. Like, Shiko, you need to be stopped. Can you relax?
Whatever.
So I keep on coming to Solange's album when I get home. Oh my God. Whew. Jesus.
Art.
It's just delicious. Like, my body just starts bouncing. It's so soulful. Like, I just feel at peace.
And I
it
feel like
feels good.
that's what this album, like, it makes you feel like, vibey.
Oh, vibey. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. It just feels really, 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 really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's dope.
Yeah, so
Thanks, guys, for listening, as always. And we shall see you on the flip side.
bye.
Bye.
This podcast episode is recorded with the assistance of Courier.
You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts.